Hello, this is Vincere from Shoutcaststrategy.com, bringing you another replay with Liquid Jinro spawning as the blue Terran in the 7 o'clock position, and SharkGPhobos spawning in the 9 o'clock position as a red Terran player. I'm bringing this replay to you to show you how Liquid Jinro's build can run into some trouble and show you a more interesting game than the game I showed you last time, and that was more so I can concentrate on Jinro's build and see some of the things he did with it and prepare myself better for shoutcasting some more of his replays while the beta is still down. If you do happen to have suggestions on other replays you'd like to see me cast, or maybe you'd just like to see what Jinro does against a different race, either Terran versus Terran or Terran versus Zerg, go ahead and shoot me an email or go to my forums and just leave some feedback and tell me what you'd like to see. Or you can just post a comment in the YouTube channel. I don't really care which. I'll go ahead and bring up the production tab and make sure I don't miss anything, hopefully. Got my sound turned down too far down, so turn that up for myself so I can actually hear the game a little bit in case something exciting is happening, and I like to hear the cool sounds just as much as anyone else. And I like how pretty this game is and like to see the little portraits move. So I'm glad my computer can handle playing this on high settings while I record. I wish I had a good enough computer to do ultra because I really do think this game's gorgeous. And you'll see the SCV bump into the probe right here. Oh, hello. Nothing too exciting going on with Phobos' build. Getting the gas about normal timing, pylon, gateway. Standard build that I saw from Jinro last game I cast of him, so nothing new or exciting here. Getting that gas up at the same time as the barracks to give him plenty of gas to do all the teching he's going to be doing. So Phobos sees what is going on because unlike the last Protoss player I showed you, he actually does scout. Now one thing I do like to see with this probe, and just more of a fun thing to do, is to move it right here, maybe even throw down a pylon before canceling it, just to delay that reactor a little bit. Not that that's a huge effect, I just kind of like to see that play. I think it's fun, a little bit of harassing going on. And he even does move the probe to the Zelnaga watchtower so he can see what's going on, see if any units are coming out. But that Marine is coming towards and to kick it off and keep some map control for the Terran, not to let the Protoss see whatever he wants without any effort. You can see the pylon going up here to hide some tech. He's getting a robo bay, probably to put up an observer, I would guess, but we'll have to see, won't we? He is sending his Marine around his base to make sure that there is no proxy. Always a good idea to do when you're against Protoss. That's not something you generally want to deal with as Terran. And his factory's going up. He's cranking out Marines. Has a good amount of SCVs going out, getting gas on both. Has 3 SCVs on both gas. All very standard stuff. Good things to make sure you're doing. Phobos only has 2 on this geyser, so we'll see if he gets another probe over there or if he's mistaken something. Oh, I guess he pulled off the probe to build, and now it's going to have to run all the way around because he walled off a little bit to help prevent against Hellion harass. You can see there's a Stalker and a Zealot standing up here. The Stalker standing here is because if he was to build a Reaper, the Reaper would jump right up this cliff, and that way the Stalker would be able to take care of it very quickly before it could do any damage. And we do notice that he's actually putting out a warp prism out of his robotics facility, and I'm guessing he can do some harassing because that way he doesn't have to go up this ramp where he has all the Marines standing and prepared for it. And here we see 3 Zealots and a Stalker go over to this warp prism. I like this harass a lot. I think it's neat. And I've really never paid attention before, but that portrait's actually kind of cool on the warp prism. And here he drops into the line. Let's see how many SCVs he takes out. 1, 2, and there's that tank out. Decides to switch to attacking the Marines. Chops up 1 Marine. He pulls SCVs off the line. Make sure he takes care of this, and looks like he lost another 2 or 3 SCVs, so not a huge hit. He does get that. He does get a Stalker out and backs up the warp prism, so I really think warp prisms aren't used enough in Protoss versus anything, or at least not the games I see. Even myself, I don't use them enough. I have pulled them out before, and they're absolutely an amazing unit. They're nice to pick up and drop off. He's even picking up a probe so he can drop it off at this upper island expansion. This is a risky play I don't necessarily agree with. We'll find out if that works for him or not. But if Liquid Jinro was to scout that, it's very hard to defend this because you'd either have to warp in units here or get more warp prisms to transport units across, or he has to spend resources on cannons. I like how this little probe's dancing. Looks pretty. And we can see that the SCV is scouting here. And he doesn't see an expansion here. But I almost think this is... I'm not sure what Jinro's thinking here, but I think once you get up to higher level, you can't assume any of your opponents are going to be bad. So you have to assume that they expanded somewhere else, and you should scout all the other expansions as soon as you can. Here you can see a Raven coming in, and I just saw that turret popping up so he could deal with the turret, but he did stop instead because he ran in and saw that he was trying to do an immortal drop. But that didn't work out very well because he happened to see it, obviously. And he does slide his Raven over here, and he drops... He summons 2 Stalkers immediately to deal with it. And... Wait, where did that SCV come from? Oh, I guess he sent up there to scout, so... Ooh, and he lost that Raven. That's not good. So Phobos obviously doing a lot better than the last Protoss player we saw, and knows how to defend against the harass. And he's got this expansion up now, starting to pump out. In fact, this expansion has gone up before the command center has lifted off. Let's see. He does have control of this watchtower so that he can see if anything's coming to him, and then betting he moves it up here to be able to see when the Protoss player moves out sooner. You can see oftentimes players will reveal what they're doing when they scout for something in particular. I've noticed this a lot at all levels of play. He's scouting all these other expansions because he hit an expansion, doesn't want his opponent to have hidden an expansion as well. If you notice these type of things, you can actually really guess what they're doing, and in fact I've done it myself where I'll rush a unit out like an observer or something like that because I'm afraid they're going Dark Templars or against another Protoss player. Sorry, kind of slightly rambling, but